So, what's going on? So, I've got a video here. It's about 20 minutes long. I'm going to go through my program, what it consists of, what we go through, what we do, some of the things we're going to be teaching you to get you back on track. It includes what my offer includes and my guarantee. So, if you stick with me to the end, we'll get to that. I just want to go through at the beginning here, how I got to where I got. Like, why am I doing what I'm doing? So, I'm looking for men who are tired of being unhappy, who feel stuck, they're overwhelmed with the thought of healing, and they're predominantly dominated by a negative emotion: sadness, anxiety, guilt, fear, things like that, anger. And I get how big of a challenge this is, guys. Um, I started at the very bottom in a just awful negative place. So I'm going to go through here and I'm going to explain how I can help you overcome these hurdles, how you can reach your happy, healed, best version of yourself. Trauma does not have to define you or your emotions. You can define them both, and I'm going to show you how. So here we are. This is me and my son. Uh, you know, he died in the accident when he was 5 months old. So this is pretty close to when he passed away. We're at another child's event. It's what we were doing. So um, that's him and me. You can see my beard's gotten a lot grayer since then. Uh, But anyway, so after he passed away, I was as big of a wreck as you imagine. I mean, man, I was a steamy pile of shit. I wasn't going anywhere. I knew that I wanted to get better. I wanted to try things. I wanted to do whatever I could to get better, but I couldn't. I didn't feel like I could move. And so I was trying different types of therapy like EMDR, electromagnetic stimulation, couch therapy. I was doing that for years. I was on medication for years. I was broke and I was miserable. So the first big step I took was when I got off Klonopin. Klonopin was being prescribed to me for years. I think it was about 5 years I was on the Klonopin. It helped numb the anxiety and depression, but it numbed every other feeling. So I was just a zombie. There was not going to be any growing from that point. 7 years after my son died, my wife and I split up, and we went through a disgusting, nasty divorce. It was a time in my life I'm not proud of. And in hindsight, I can see that the negative was really amplified by the fact that none of us had gone through the anger phase of grief. It was something that I had prevented most, or the entire family, my children and myself, from going through for preservation, as my ex-wife was involved in the accident my son passed away in. So I had a lot of the same feelings you're probably going through. I was overwhelmed at the idea of getting better. I didn't think it was possible. There's no hope of getting over something like your kid dying. It was just awful. And I had no idea where to start. I didn't really give a shit. I could care less. I just thought I was going to live out the rest of my days. I did early on make a promise to myself that I was going to stay in the fight for my kids, and I did want to keep getting better. But then I ran into this big one here of guilt of moving on. And I know that a lot of people deal with this. Like if somebody passes away, and even in a relationship, when you lose a relationship, when we lose somebody, it's like it's so hard because we've got the guilt factor, and there's a guilt factor of moving on from this individual. So my son, like a dad, you never want to leave your son behind, even if they've passed. Like you want to take them with you, but we can't change the past, and we don't have to feel guilty for those things. And then I began to feel guilty because I wasn't growing. So for my other kids, I didn't have the growth that I needed to have for them. So then I'd put myself in this like guilty box, and it was just an awful place. So 7 years of my life were lost. I was wandering around earth. I was miserable. I didn't know where I was going, didn't know what to do, didn't know where to go. So after my divorce, there were some major hurdles to overcome. I had to completely reestablish a place to live, had to recover financially from the divorce. But this is when my growth finally exploded. I kicked off down a holistic path. And guys, I didn't even know what a holistic path was. And to define it, it's just healing your whole body. So your mind, your physical body, and your spirit. And I didn't even know that's what I was doing, but I knew that I needed to take some form of action, and I just got started. So I was learning more every day and implementing different tools and tactics to encourage this growth. I was researching and finding people who could tell me do these things. and I would implement them. And if they worked, they stayed in. If they didn't work, I moved on to the next one. So I was able to come to the place I am today. And now I know that I can accomplish anything I put my mind to. So one of the big things that I got through that really let me know this was when my son passed away, I was working for the local government in the IT department. We did software development and maintenance for the judicial system. So I worked with the district attorney, the public defender, juvenile courts, the criminal courts, and all this. As a subject matter expert, I'd come out of the criminal court system. So I was in IT. I didn't know anything about building. And after my son passed away, it was kind of how I'd pass the time. I would go do manual labor and work in construction. And I built my way up to where I knew what was going on, to the point that I was able to pass the general contractor's exam. And I still hold this license, but it's something that I really don't, I did not enjoy. And so I didn't stick with it. It's not that I gave up. I really hated it. And I refuse to go through life hating what I'm doing. I want to love what I'm doing. So I was able to start traveling again, really enjoying life, spending time. And I really enjoy spending time with family and in nature. As a picture of Grand Canyon, some in here in Sedona, at the beach. Beautiful landscapes. They're very humbling. They let us know we're not alone, and that it's not an accident that all this stuff got here. And I've really found my spiritual way being out in nature. And so I encourage you to do the same. But anyway, after years of utilizing these tools and the negatives in my life, all but non-existent, I realized that I really got a new lease on life. And I was happy. It just kind of went, I was like, man, I'm really happy, like, all the time. I'm excited about what's going on. I'm excited about where I'm going. And that's when I decided that I needed to help men go through this same journey. It could save years off of your life, being miserable, unhappy, stuck, overwhelmed, all the things we've talked about. And I can get you started on your recovery journey down the path that you're wanting to take. And so, what is the program and who is it for? I help men who have been through something traumatic, who are having a hard time recovering. I mentor them from overwhelmed, stuck, and full of negative emotions to growing into the best versions of themselves. The program I put together teaches men how to understand why they have certain emotions and reactions to different events. I focus, like I said, on the holistic approach, which covers healing the whole body, mentally, physically, and spiritually. So we go through this process and the steps to explain how you got to where you are mentally, your beliefs, your emotions, where they come from, things like that, past things that you experienced that you've gone through that really drive your reaction to life in general, specifically the trauma that you're dealing with. And then moving from that, it's another thing that's going to form a lot of beliefs. And so we're going to cut through all that. So if you're not ready to invest in your happiness and the people who loves you happiness, your production level, and your future, then this is not going to be the program for you. You can hop off now and just start tracking my Instagram, YouTube, and Spotify channels till you get to that point where you really know you're ready to make some changes. Because I'll tell you now, this is not easy. The things that I'm going to show you and the implementation into your life, it's easy to understand what has to be done, but it's not easy to do it. And so if you're not really, really ready to do those things, then it's not time yet. You really need to be sick and tired of being sick and tired, fed up with all the negative emotions like depression, anxiety, and overall sadness, fed up with not knowing what you want or not being able to attain what you want. Then, if that's you, then keep watching. I'm going to show you the backbone of my program, how we get where we want to go, working with guys. So, trying it on your own, other than the fact that you're here watching this video because you've been unable to do it on your own, I'm going to go through a few other things. It can cost you years upon years on your life if you ever do figure out what to do and how to do it. It's hard even knowing where to start when you're in such a negative situation. I can remember when Joel had passed away. I mean, even a year or two after, like, it was just really, really hard to focus on like, I couldn't even focus on a football game, and I love football, and I couldn't focus on anything, much less my growth. Like, I tried, pardon me, I tried to like the therapy. I knew therapy was something that was going to be needed. So the mental piece, I knew that part was going to be needed, but I didn't receive the guidance there. It was, I don't know. It's hard to explain. I learned a lot in therapy, and I took a lot of, I had a lot of accountability for myself, a lot of self reflection. I dealt with a lot of things outside the death of my child, leading up to that, but I just couldn't, it didn't really help. I still felt like shit. I still felt negative. I feel like I had unloaded a lot, but I still felt really negative. And a therapist is often needed, which I have a licensed therapist on my team, and he is with me all along the way from the time that you sign up until the time that we send you on your way. He is available. He's reviewing what's going on to let us know if maybe you need to step in and have a one-on-one with you, and he's available for hourly hire on a online basis, so you don't have to go anywhere. You can do it just the way we meet as well. But the therapy piece is just a piece. It's not the overall. As a mentor, I'm I'm there all the time and all the way. And a therapist has their place. They're going to be an hour a week, an hour a month, something like that. That's where you're really going to go through. They're going to hold you accountability on the things you've been working on. You can report what you've been doing, what you've been working on. They can report back, but they're really not there for the hand holding, encouraging piece that a mentor would be, like myself. If you're watching this video right now, it's probably because you're losing that battle inside your head. The one that goes like this: I really, really want to change. I want to do things differently. I want to have a more positive life, and I want to be healthier. I want to be happier. And then there's that other side that wants you to give up, and it's always going to be like this. It doesn't matter what you do. There's nothing that can change my circumstances. So why would I even try to move forward? That's the voice that's winning inside your head. And that's why you're losing the battle, and you've out looking for answers. And I get it. I understand. I lost that battle inside my head for years upon years. No longer does that happen. And then finally, when you get the energy to get something like this started, you've got a lot of energy and you're about it and you're ready to, dig in and do everything you can to figure out the way. But before you can really figure out where to start, that momentum wanes, and it starts to fizzle out. And so before you even get your journey started, it stops because you're like, fuck, I don't even know what I'm doing. There's no reason to keep trying. So that's where the program like this steps in, and a mentor is going to be the best answer for you. So it's going to save you time in life. Coaching and mentoring is a big time saver. It's an investment financially in saving time. So somebody who has gone through what you're going through has found out answers to the questions and then can provide them to you. It saves you, like I said, I lost 7 years, and it wasn't an easy 7 years. It was a hard, miserable 7 years. So we start out, we're on day one, we're putting a holistic plan in place and getting you on your path to recovery immediately. We get you started right away. We'll have a licensed therapist available for you to hire on session by session basis. He'll be involved, like I said, from the beginning. I'll help you win the battle in your head by teaching you ways to stay present and keep an appropriate perception. And together we'll go through the process of figuring out where your emotions are derived from, how your past shapes your beliefs, and how your beliefs shape every decision you make. Together, we'll define your goals and the process needed to attain them. We'll cover the fundamentals of learning how to grow mentally, physically, and spiritually. And when you leave, you'll be sent on your way with a plan in place, a tangible plan. I'll send it to you where you'll know how to keep. It's a lather, rinse, repeat situation when it comes to this growth. It's not something that you just stop doing. I grow every day. My routine is in place. It's tweaked when needed to make things better or to encourage more growth. I'm constantly self evaluating and looking at these things, and you'll do the same. So once you learn these tools, it's not, you don't just learn them and get to a point and then stop. It's, you learn these tools and they continue to build on each other and build on each other. So we're going to start out down at the bottom, first, straight out of the gate. We're going to get all the bullshit out of the way. We're going to get rid of the bad food, no fast foods, eliminate processed foods, cut out vices like alcohol, hardcore drug use, cigarettes, things like that. Get you exercising, get you a baseline on your goals and routines. Where are you when you walk in the program? So after that, we're going to deal with the emotions and beliefs and how they drive you. It's what makes you tick. We're going to go through that. We're going to see what makes you tick. We're going to see if that is really what you want to make you tick or if there needs to be some changes there. Then we're going to move on to the skills of the holistic program, like I was talking about, working on the mental, physical, and spiritual growth. We'll go through different things that you'll be observing and reflecting on inside yourself. We'll go through all these things. Then we'll go back once we know what you really, really want, redefine goals and routines. And then we'll, at the end, we'll have like I said, a detailed roadmap that'll have you headed. Before you leave the program, you'll already have an emotional shift. You'll be in a positive space when you leave the program. You'll be ready to keep attacking. It's not, you won't just be starting. So before you come to the program, you're going to feel hopeless, depressed, overwhelmed, anxious, guilty, and won't most likely be in a healthy physical place. After the program, you'll be happy, excited, driven, healthy, proud, in tune, joyful, and on your way to living a fulfilled life. And it's really exciting to me um, to see these transitions take place, and it's so fulfilling for me. And I'm hopeful that we can get you in the program and get you working. The best part of this is when what we're doing is we're getting the negative momentum stopped. We're getting the positive momentum in play, just like in a football game, any sport activity, there's going to be a momentum, and we're going to learn how to stop the negative momentum in its tracks and get positive momentum going. It does not mean you'll never run into a negative momentum situation again. Of course you will, but you're going to have the tools after this program to stop that and get going back in the right way. We have a routine to support this, and the sky's the limit as far as you go. Like I said, it's just something you're going to continue to stack on each other, stack on each other, stack on each other to get to the point where you're like, I know I can do this. I can do whatever I want now. And it'll be you're not chained down by your emotions. You're not chained down by your lack of abilities to go where you want to go. You're not going to be chained down by not knowing where to start. You're going to have the tools you need to keep things going in the right direction. So what comes with my offer? We'll get you kicked off on your holistic wellness plan by implementing a routine customized for you. We'll help you understand what makes you tick, what drives you. Together, we'll derive and define your goals multiple times as they're refined in you, as you refine and you see what you would like life to look like, not what it has looked like in the past. We don't want to get back to some baseline. We want to get back to the best possible you. So I'm going to teach you the tools necessary for successfully moving forward with your life. Teach principles and guidelines to follow to increase success rate and decrease failure rates once you've graduated the program. Teach you tools to help you grow mentally, physically, and spiritually. There'll be a one-on-one accountability mentor right there for you. That'll be myself. You'll have the ability to contact me via text anytime. I'll get back to you in a timely fashion. We'll have weekly meetings. Some will be one-on-one. Some could be in a group with other like-minded people going through the same process. When I say like-minded, I mean that they have gone through something traumatic and they too are looking for changes in their life. We'll provide daily message support, as I said, and at the conclusion of the program, you'll walk away with a roadmap to your best self as you have defined it, not something that I've come up with. And none of this is going to be what I come up with. I'm merely going to be there showing you the path, how to get there. If you can kind of visualize, if you're throwing darts for the first time and somebody who knows, you hit the bullseye maybe once out of 10 throws, pop, that's some dumb luck. And then somebody comes in and knows what they're doing and they give you some tips and they hold your arm for you and you hit 8 out of 10 right there. It's just like that. I'm going to step in and show you the way, and then we're going to fill it in with you, your life, uh, the things that you have to navigate in life. We've all got different immediate circumstances, right? Just what's going on in my life doesn't necessarily translate to what's going on in your life. So we're going to translate things into your life, into your circumstances, fit them in with you. If you don't have money, we'll have things in place that will take place. So you can't join a gym and you can't afford to go to do this and you can't afford to go do that. We will discuss ways that you can do these things without extra money. One of the big things I do on my exercise is I hate a gym, so I won't go. So one of the big things I'll do is get out in nature. It's huge and it's free. It doesn't cost me a dime. So as long as you complete these following conditions, completing all the assignments that I assign, which there's a packet at the beginning that you'll be completing, and then each week you'll have something to you'll kind of go back, revisit, and modify after learning. You'll attend and participate in all the scheduled sessions. So there you can't miss the sessions. Those are really important, and you have to be there. As long as you are, we're good. You stay disciplined, dedicated to change, and willing to learn, and willing to put in the work. That shows up in participation during the classes. We'll see that. And then you must be respectful with anyone and everyone that you come in contact with, online or otherwise, that is in this program. I encourage you to do that with every human being that you go through, but there can't be any tolerance for not being kind inside the program. I'm building a community for men who will support one another through this really tough scenario and situation, and it's going to be a push pull situation. So the guys who have been through it will help pull the guys who are just coming in, and the guys who are just coming in help push us who have been in it for a while, because we see where you are and we know we don't want to go back to that place. So it really pushes us to keep working our tails off to keep going. And if you're willing to do all those things, then your satisfaction is guaranteed. I will give you, if you don't leave this program satisfied and with changes in your life emotionally, and with a plan in place to continue growing, then I'll give you every dollar back, man. I'm not here to take your money if I can't fix what's going on. And I'll be 100% honest with you. The money piece is not as much a thing that you must have in place to stay dedicated. So when you're in school as a child, you want to get out of school. And so the teacher has some leverage over you by saying, if you don't do what I ask of you and you cannot pass the test that I give you, then you won't move on. And so that's the leverage you have. If you're on a sports team and you've got a coach, then the coach has leverage over you in that if you don't do what he says and ask and don't work your tail off, then you're not going to play. And that's the whole reason you're there, is to play. That's the leverage he has over you. I don't have any leverage over you guys. The number that I ask is not a huge number, but it's enough to give me some leverage over you to keep you dedicated in the program. And if I don't fill up my end of the deal, again, I'll put it in writing. It's part of my contract that if you do these few things that I've asked of you, then I will give you your money back. So I hope you're as excited about the program as I am. If you haven't scheduled a call with me, get with me so we can get a call scheduled. You can get on my calendar. And I'm really excited to talk to you and work with you. I hope you have a great day.